live today. This is Jason Davis. Some know me as the South Dallas Mayor. Some people know me as the up and coming Texas tenor, uh, Q Dog, all that. Yeah, man, this is Jason Davis. If you know me, you know me. If you don't know me, good to meet you. I want to talk about my evening. Um, Played a gig tonight. It was wonderful. Played at a church. Played some Christmas music. We grooved a whole bunch of different songs. Played with a guy named Chris Trailer. Interesting vocalist, man. I got to learn some more about his artistry and his musicianship tonight, man. It's an amazing set of ears, man. I just love to be around people that's hearing all this stuff in music. But yeah, I'm getting ready to cut my record, man. Shout out to all my homeboys, man. Gerald Carter, Lee Manuel Williams, Derek Bullock, Jeremy St. Clair, Shelley Carroll, the great Shelley Carroll, my favorite saxophone player. Um, One of my favorite people as well. Jamada Holloman, Gayka James, Antona Malbert, all these brothers, man. Some of them I've been knowing, like Gayka and Gerald. I've been knowing these brothers almost 30 years, over 20 years, and a long time. So these brothers are coming to the studio to bless my album with their music, and I'm putting in the work now to make sure that what they come to play is gonna be amazing, and it's gonna be worth having them show up and come play it. So I'm studying a lot of different horn arrangers. I'm studying Nelson Riddle. I'm studying Gary McFarlane, uh, Bob Brookmeyer, studying Tom Tom, Tom Tom 84, Jerry Hay. Let me see who else I'm studying. I'm studying whoever did the what's this guy's name? Gene Page, a guy that did a bunch of writing in LA. Just I'm studying all these horn rhythms and voices and stuff, and I do pretty good arranging horns, but I always like to get a little more information. So I'm studying these guys and Thad Jones, Sammy Nestico, Quincy. Just really trying to see the consistency and see the inconsistencies and see the tendencies that different guys write with. So I'm getting some stuff ready. I'm thinking about doing in some areas 9 distinct notes harmonized with the horns, but I want to talk a little bit about the 9-part harmony just so I can get through this video and won't hold you too long on this. The if I try to write these horn parts with just using um, your traditional um, harmony writing, whatever you want to call it, Western music harmony writing, um, chords, open voices, closed voices. If I try to do it like that, then I'm gonna run into some issues that have to do with parallel octaves, parallel fifths, all that stuff about voicing into the octave and voicing out of octave, all those rules and stuff that apply to theory. So the way I'm approaching this 9-part harmony, it has something to do with that a little bit, but not everything to do with that. So a lot of scholars, when they hear me talking about writing 8-part or 9-part harmony, they start to try to call it something else like clusters, or maybe you're writing da da da, but you're not writing harmony. And I want to talk about um, the approach that I'm going to take to get this 9-part harmony, because I haven't done it yet, so I can't tell you how to do it. But my approach, I'm going to take the approach I take when I'm improvising, which is I'm not thinking just 1, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. I'm not thinking like that in all the alterations when I'm playing. I'm thinking about, well, actually, I'm not thinking about anything, but the application that I'm directed to now, as opposed to thinking um, chord scale relationships. I'm thinking more of getting the harmony from a particular scale, um, which I believe it's a. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing, but right now I'm just calling it the JD scale, Jason Davis scale. Although I know it's like third mode something or fifth mode something with a sharp four or something like that. I know it's based up off another scale, but for now I'm not giving it that big old name. I'm just calling it the JD scale. And from that scale, that's how I'm developing the harmony because I know that the scale is devised to be a altered scale over the root of any quality chord. So I have a scale that I can play that I've come up, that I've discovered. I didn't come up with it, but I discovered it. Um, I discovered it into my plan. Let me say it like that. I got a scale that I developed that doesn't have a major third or a minor third, and it doesn't have a dominant seven. It doesn't have a dominant seven or a major seven. It's not no flat seven, no major seven. And the scale contains two minor thirds. The scale is perfect to use to select notes to voice out in my chords. Um, and definitely, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, but I'm trying to find another sound to bounce up against the traditional open and close voicings and those things. And I have found it. Creating the harmony off of a scale, and then using my theoretical knowledge to voice stuff according to what the melody wants and according to the mood and where the lyrics are and all that. I could do that next, but I think that in writing this 9-part harmony, the problems would traditionally come in the bottom of the chord, not the top of the chord. So you got a lot of space down there when you're dealing with that octave between a bari sax and a acoustic bass, or just those fifths in between, or that sixth interval, in between certain, instruments. I think that the music that I'm writing, uh, there's room for 9 parts in harmony. And if you think about having a guitar player playing a chord and a piano player playing another kind of voicing of that chord, and then you think about a horn section playing a hit, that's more than 9 parts. Because guitar player is gonna play what's comfortable for the nature of the guitar. Piano player is gonna play the textures that are most suitable for whether he's on a Fender Rhodes or whether he's on an Oregon or whatever he's on. And then you got to think about harmony that happens within notes moving, changing harmony. So it's gonna be fun, and I think the goal is not to play nine, is not to get 9-part harmony, but the goal is to paint with different colors, with different shades of different colors and different levels of the hue. So I think we can get it. Now, if I write 9-part harmony, then I don't have all 9 horn players show up to my session. Then I'm gonna be sitting there like, oh, what do we do now? Well, we probably have to stack some. But just want to talk a little bit about 9-part harmony and talking about how you can use scales to develop the harmony. Uh, Altered scales that I mean it like this. If it's a D7 chord and I got this F sharp scale that I made up, this JD scale, um, or that I discovered into my plan. I didn't make it up. I got that scale that starts on the F sharp. When I got a D7 chord there and I know the scale fits over it, I can use every note in that scale and orchestrate that first and space that out to make sense where it's pleasing to the ear, and then use traditional harmony to put in all those pretty, customary, strong tones that the bass player is not playing and that aren't being dealt with in the melody. So that's a little bit about the way I'm going to approach 9-part harmony. I'm going to the studio Thursday, and hey, I'll probably go live from the studio so y'all can hear some of that. Working on my record. It doesn't have a title now, but I'm working on it. Got some great musicians on it. Drums and bass are just locked up on this record, and great, great musicians on it. You know, folks like Shelton Summons. Uh, man, man, Shelton Summons, boy, he's he's the best kept secret in the state of Texas, probably on keyboard. I mean, wow, my goodness. I could go on and on. Got some heavy musicians, and I attempted to use people that were just winners. These guys are winners, man. These guys are winners. They, I just haven't really never heard them miss or fold, or they just winners, man. They solid brothers, man. They got it together, man, and they playing great music, and you can hear it in the funk. So Jason Davis, Dallas, Texas, get ready, y'all. Later on.